Hi everyone, greetings from Southern California. Sarah Shudderfun here. I'm thinking of all of you. I know this has been a really challenging time, and recently a lot of our lockdown homestays have been extended in different states. So I know that can feel a little overwhelming, particularly for people with toddlers. So a few people have reached out saying, it's hard to get everything done and get your older child working on their home learning and keeping your toddler busy. So I first and foremost want to say, be kind to yourself, be patient. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you are not alone. Everybody is. It's an enormous task to have to work from home, manage your children from home, and do it all in isolation. So be patient with yourself. Look for every little win, and it can be small. So-and-so put their shoes on by themselves today. Yes. So-and-so put their toys away today, or one toy away today. Yes. Whatever it is, keeping those gratitudes and celebrations going just helps with your own peace of mind. But for sure, it's challenging, so be patient. That being said, I just wanted to share some ideas about how you might keep your toddler engaged and busy. And just to remind you that toddlers sort of from 12 months or 14 months, depending on when they're really mobile, to 2.5, they're going through a sensitive period of development for order. That means they're most likely to respond to anything that's about putting their environment in order. And their sensitive period of development for movement. So they're all about learning about how their body works in the environment. And so they actually learn by moving. So we don't want to set up a scenario that just keeps them still, like in a playpen where they can't move. We actually want to set up a situation where they can move, but they can do it independently and be safe. So that being said, again, I'm going to suggest that you try to set up a little area where you put a few activities out and show them how to go and collect their activity, come and sit down and work with it and put it back. Because in doing so, you're building into that practice that movement that they really need and they really long for. So a shelf, I repurposed one of my shelves just to kind of turn it into a makeshift classroom, but you could even put a box down or a bedside table and just put a few items on. That helps a lot. And then I also just looked around the house and found stuff that I think could be intriguing and interesting for a toddler. So again, remember, it's all about movement. They love putting and taking and moving. So anyway, I had some boxes here and I just sort of created a little put in the hole and then out comes the other. And the other way. I found 3 balls, and this can be really exciting, especially from the younger toddlers, but it feels kind of good anyway to the hand to push the balls through and see them come out the other end. Listen. Yeah, it requires a little bit of force, and then you find it. So this was just 2 boxes and some balls I found. Tennis balls would work good if you had those. And again, I would put it on a shelf and invite the child, and I'd say, look, I have something I want to show you today. Look at these balls. Watch what happens. Put it in. Where is it? And it comes out here. And then I'll put it back and I'll say, now you can do it. So then they get the opportunity to show me how they're gonna move the material from the shelf. So there is a simple put and take. Another activity here is just opening containers. So I found some jars with a screw lid. They're different sizes. And I'm just going to show them how to put the lids on and off and put back in the container. Okay, these little makeup samples are great. They're just like the perfect size for little hands. And there you go. You can go back on. I also have a different kind of container that isn't a screw top but is a lift top. So again, I'm going to show them how to use these. Listen for the sound. Again, these are all recycled. I found them in my kitchen. And then matching the lids, and listen for the sound. You might find too that they even try putting, again, remember put and take, how things fit into other things. This is all what the toddler's into, so they might even try to do that, and that's great. We want them to explore with the materials. So again, that's another activity. The other thing you might want to consider doing is just taking away some of their toys. Like if there's too many toys to choose from, it's really hard. And again, it's not just about playing with the toy, it's about going and getting it, because it's all about movement. So try putting some of their toys away and just selecting a few. I, for example, put a few Legos here in a tray. There's one car and just a couple of blocks. This is ideal for sort of a 14-month to 18-month. That's kind of all they need. They just need one or two. Then they might drive the car around for a little bit. They might take it off and put it back, take it off and put it back. It's the repetition and the movement that really appeals to them. And put it back on the tray and back on the shelf. So again, they're moving. I did the same with some toy animals here. So I have just 3, which is a nice number for them, even if you're counting 1, 2, 3. So, and then they might play with these, or somebody might go to sleep. You'll see a little bit of role play. And then when they're finished, they can put it back and go again and put it on the shelf. So again, I did the same with some of these magnetic blocks. Just put a few on a tray, and maybe they make a little 1 cube, not the entire set. So your older sort of 4, even 3, 4, and 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, they're going to want more because they're actually creating something, and they're using it for their imaginative play. But for the toddler, their work is really in the manipulation of the material, so they don't need that many, and it can be overwhelming. So again, I just took a few, made a little tray, and it's sort of very inviting. Another thing I did was just find some things. I found a few things around the house that could be used just for dress up. So I found this boa, and you'll see the toddler will put it on and off and on and off, because the movement and the repetition is for them. Again, an older child would want to put their costume on and then role play in that, but a toddler is just wanting to put it on and off and experience what that's like. I found a little skirt that's just very simple, easy to slip on. I found this little bow that is just a simple clip that you could put on and off, even on the finest little hair. And I found this was fun. This is like a sunglasses case that has a zipper. So something could go in here. Maybe the scarf. Let's see if that works. So again, putting and taking and hiding. Or who knows, one of the animals might end up in here. There you go. This was a great find, a little, I think a necklace came in this as a gift, but it has a little zipper here. And I found a comb. So you can imagine that a little person would love to put this in and out and maybe carry it around the room. So if you had a mirror nearby, that would be great. Or I found sort of one of those sample makeup things that has a little mirror here that they can look at if they put something on. Or it can go in here. Or sometimes the animals end up in here. with the comb, and that's all okay. We want them to be experimenting and experiencing manipulating and moving the materials around and using them in different ways. And a headband, so you can imagine, if you have a toddler, what this would be like. So maybe you put 1 or 2 things depending on your toddler, or maybe you put 4 or 5 things, but it's just one box with a few things. And again, you put it in a place where they can select, come out, do it, and put it back. And you might keep these things for about a week. And then you see that they're losing interest. You can take 1 or 2 things out, add something new, try a new tray. The point is we want them to repeat it, and we want them to engage in the movement, because that's where the learning is really happening. So any addition or change is usually welcomed, and it'll be intriguing to them, even the slightest change, a different tray. The other thing is I used, often in Montessori classes or in beautiful, well-stocked classrooms, you'll see wooden trays or ceramic trays, and those are lovely, of course. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be a cardboard box or a styrofoam tray or a plastic tray, cardboard tray. They're experiencing how the different materials feel. So even without you pointing it out, they're getting an impression of the different properties and different materials on from a tactile kind of experience. So go ahead and be creative with what you find in your kitchen. If that feels overwhelming, my suggestion is start with 2 things. Maybe just the jars, the opening and closing, and just putting a few toys in a Tupperware and see how that goes, and then add to it as the days go on. And so you can expect that they'll go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And if you add some kind of food prep or snack prep into that will also keep them really busy and really intrigued. My grandson used to visit me in Beijing, and his favorite activity when he was a toddler was we had one of those water coolers, was to take the lever and let the water run out and close it, and he just kept doing that, and the water would come out. It was like the cause and effect of it. It was just the most fun for him. And then when he was done with that, he'd move the big plastic bottles all around the living room, and he was just new to walking, but he just was so excited. His eyes were so bright as he moved back and forth. And I could just have those 2 things available to him, and he would be busy for hours between those two things. So remember that it's all about the movement for them. So set up an area where movement is okay, and when you see that they're really engaged, it gives you a minute to check your email or do some meal prep or get somebody onto an assignment or have a cup of coffee and breathe, whatever it is. So again, I'm sending you all best wishes. Hang in there, be kind to yourself, and celebrate the wins. Okay, have a great day.